Okay, good morning, everyone. This time I'm recording the class. This is PIN227, section 1 on the July the 1st session. And today we're going to be working on phonetic transcription of consonant sounds. And I'm going to copy and paste the words that we're going to be working with. And then I'm going to upload the Word file, okay? So first I'm going to copy and paste the words that you need to work with, and then I'm going to attach the Word file, okay? So allow me. Okay, here we go. So we have the Word file in the chat room, and what I want you to do is I want you to transcribe only the highlighted consonants, and I want you to transcribe them so we can later check them out. Okay, so you're gonna have 10 minutes. In these 10 minutes, I want you to transcribe only the highlighted section in the word. Okay, after these 10 minutes, we're going to discuss your answers and see if you have any questions. We can work them out later after you finish with the strike. So take a look at the Word file in the chat room, and you'll have 10 minutes to work with this, okay? All right, if you have not finished, it would be convenient to pause the video until you finish with the exercises, all right? If you finished, we're going to go ahead with the answers, okay? So again, if you have not finished, please pause the video, right? Okay, so let's take a look at the first word. The first word is jumped, jumped, which this is right symbol to represent the first sound. Okay, let me show you what's here. So we have jumped, right? Jumped, jumped, and as you can see here, that's a symbol. And jumped, jumped, by the way, is ends in ed, right? Jumped, and that's the sound or the symbol representing the sound t. Jumped. T. And this has to do with basically what we call ed ending, or the ending that we used for past tense or past participle for regular verbs, right? In the case that we have here, jumped ends in a voiceless consonant. I'm sorry, jump, jump, jump is a voiceless consonant. So whenever we have in a verb final voiceless consonant and we want to add the past tense or the ed ending, we need to add a voiceless t. Okay, so if it's again, if it's voiceless, we add a voiceless consonant here. Okay, voiceless, voiceless. Okay, if the verb is, for example, play, play. Let me do it below. If we add play, play ends in a voiced vowel sound. All vowel sounds are voiced, right? So play. We have something like this, right? But we have the short legs e, play. So as you can see, this sound unit is voiced. So the past tense should be played. D. The reason for this is because this is a voiced sound. Therefore, we think of or use d, which is also voiced. So voiced final consonant sound here, voiced d. And in the case that we mentioned before, a voiceless consonant sound in the end, p, goes with a voiceless consonant sound t. Okay, so if it's voiceless, t. If it's voiced, d. And if the word ends in t, as the example here, want, want, we think about wanted. Okay, wanted. And in received pronunciation is usually preferred it, and in general American is usually preferred ed, wanted, like a schwa and a d. So you might say wanted, wanted, or wanted, wanted, wanted. Okay, if the word or verb, in this case, ends in t. Okay, that's the ending, the ed ending that we were discussing. The next word is who, who. Next word is prison, prison. Next word is queen, queen. Next one is pleasure, pleasure. Next one is agenda, agenda, right? Number 7 is philosophy, philosophy, philosophy. Okay. Next one is giant, giant. Here we have a triptych here. We have a closing diphthong plus a schwa. giant. Then number 9, we have one, one, one. Remember that we don't have a diphthong here, right? We have a glide or semi-vowel followed by a wedge. Then we have the number 10, which is use, use. Number 10 is, if you don't recall, is this one. Okay, use. Then we have number 11, liked, liked. And as you remember in the previous explanation for ed ending, k is a voiceless sound, so it needs to be followed by a voiceless t. Liked, liked. Some people say liked, liked, okay? And usually the k sound is softened, so you get liked, liked, okay? Next one we have horse, horse, or you add rheticity there, horse, horse, okay? So rheticity is what you can find in General American, and in RP you can get rid of rheticity, horse. It's always optional depending on the type of accent that you prefer. Then we have always, always, z, z. Then we have young, young, number 14, young. Number 15, we have laugh or laugh, laugh for RP speakers, and laugh for General American. The same with dance and dance, right? But anyway, the focus of this exercise is consonant sounds. Then number 16, we have then, interdental voiced fricative. 17, we have park. Again, you can say park, adding rheticity, right? Number 18, we have price, price. And if you compare it with this one, prize, prize, the change is that z would be voiced fricative alveolar for this one, prize, and for this one, we should think about voiceless alveolar fricative, okay? Then we have nation, shh, right, nation. In number 20, we have eggs, eggs. And in the word eggs, we have a noun, egg, which is pluralized, eggs, right, eggs. So in this word, we have a voiced consonant sound, egg, egg. G is a velar plosive voiced sound, right, voiced. And if you want to pluralize a noun which ends in a voiced consonant sound, you need to use a voiced fricative sibilant, right? Z, eggs, eggs. Compare this with cats. Cat, one cat, one cat. Cat, t, t. The final sound, final consonant sound is voiceless. Therefore, we used a voiceless s. Cats, cats. Okay. Egg, eggs, eggs. Okay. So we talk about plural marker. Whenever we are using a plural marker in a noun, we need to check out the final, we need to check the final sound. If it's voiced as in egg, g, 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 we use z. If it's voiceless as in cat, t, 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 we think about a voiceless s. Okay? For example, in the word I, one eye, we have a diphthong, and which is obviously voiced. So if we think about the plural marker, we need to think about z, eyes, eyes. Okay, so we need to think about z. Okay, so in the case of the 21, we have drinks, drinks, and now the spelling is n, right? D-R-I-N-K, n. and here we have a case of regressive assimilation in which the following sound is influencing the previous one. So if you remember, k is a velar sound, therefore the previous sound becomes velarized. Okay, it's all about a matter of simplicity for the tongue. It's easier for the tongue to go from which is velar, to k, which is velar. If you think about is alveolar. So it's harder for the tongue to go from alveolar sound to a velar sound. There's a lot of distance in the mouth, right? I mean, whenever you speak of very quickly, you need to think about the tongue moving back and forth, up and down. So it's easier for the tongue, instead of going from an alveolar sound to a velar sound. Remember, those are two different spots in the oral cavity. It's easier for the tongue to go from a velar to a velar. Okay, so it's not that we're talking about a very lazy organ, but it's easier in terms of fluency, right? And instead of taking, I mean, if you speak slower, probably this won't be much of a change. But anyway, that's the explanation for instead of okay? Grows, number 22, grows is basically the same explanation that we had for the plural marker, okay? S and z. It applies to third person singular. So if we think about, for example, she grows, okay? We have this O, which is a diphthong, and it's obviously a voiced sound. So the third person singular marker is also, it could be s, or it could be z, depending on the final sound of the verb. If the verb is voiced as this one, then we think about z. Okay. For example, in the case of she talks, she talks. Okay. So we have also a third person here, right? Just like before, we have a third person here. Okay, but in this one we use z because the final sound of this verb grow is voiced. So we think about a voiced, we use a voiced fricative here, a voiced sibilant. And in the case of talks, we use s because the final sound of talk is voiceless. Therefore, we used a voiceless consonant sound there, okay? So let me copy and paste this to highlight this section here. Okay, and we're going to use different color. Let's try to use this one. Okay, so remember that in this case, we're talking about the third person singular marker. Okay, in the first person singular marker, we're using s or z. And we need to think about, or we need to identify or pay attention to the last sound of the verb. If it's voiced, we use z, which is voiced. And we use s if the final consonant sound in the verb is voiceless, because this one is also voiceless, okay? So it's very easy to predict The behavior is very easily predicted. Number 23, we have close, because the final sound is, yes, voiced. Then 24, we have each, right? Each, okay, each. Remember, this is an affricate sound, right? The previous one is a long E. And 25, we have genre, right? Genre, as in vision. 26, stopped, ED ending, voiceless consonant sound, followed by a voiceless consonant sound, right? P and T. Then we have 27, there, depending on the type of action of your preference. Then we have dessert, dessert, right? What you eat after, a meal, final course. 29, we have invasion. 30, we have through. 31, which. Number 32, shouted. 33, uncle, because of the presence of k, right? In this regressive assimilation. We have cheese here. We have another, right? 36, lived, same reason, live, voiced consonant sound. So we think about a voiced ending for this ed, d. 37, we have bad. 38, fun. 39, right. 40, leisure. 41, closure. 42, understand. As you can see, in the case of these two sounds, we have after an alveolar d. So we have alveolar and alveolar, so there's no change, there's no influence from the following sounds as we saw in uncle in 33, right? In which we have a velar sound here. So this becomes which is also velar. In the case of the example 42, no changes. And 43, usual. What do you usually do on weekends? I would like to have the usual, same thing. The usually, okay? Try to get used to this whenever you say usual or usually. Okay, so that is the explanation for the exercise that you were working with, phonetic transcription. Now, I would like you to work out on this dialogue. I would like you to practice it on your own, copying and pasting snapshot or screenshot in the chat room. Okay, this dialogue and also this one. The previous one focuses on the sounds sh and j, okay? So, such as Sean is an illusionist and he has shows all around the world. His shows usually shock his audience. His latest one was on a big cruise ship traveling across the ocean. He decided to use this occasion to do his special act. He asked his audience for some patience while he was casually walking across the stage. Suddenly, the ship rose from the surface of the ocean and was flying in the air. Much to the audience's shock and confusion, they found that their pockets were full of pirate treasure. It was Sean's greatest show of all. Sean's greatest show of all. So my suggestion is that you take a look at these dialogues. I'm going to copy and paste this one in the chat. You take a look at them, read them aloud, and then I'm going to, next session, if we get together, I would like to hear it from you. Why? The reason for this exercise is sometimes we get a feeling that we know to make a difference between sh and j, or s and z. And actually, we are not exactly accurate when we are pronouncing these sounds which are not present in Spanish, okay? For example, many people think they know how to pronounce these three words, and many of them are not really near the way they are pronounced, right? So we get, for example, pronunciation, pronounce, and phonetics. Okay, if not sure, you can Google the words. You can use this website. You can transedit.com. You can download the program, or you can go into any online websites in which you can copy the word, paste the word, and you can get a transcription and the pronunciation. Okay, so that's all for today. I will see you next session, right?